Hello, listeners. It is I, Paul, and you're listening to Season 3, Episode 30 of the May Contain Action podcast. I'm aware my mic sounds like doo-doo water, and that's why Trevor's going to take it from here.
Wow.
Trevor.
So kind of you to mention water, too, because I was going to say it sounds like you're inside of a fish tank. So this works very well.
Thanks so much, Trev.
You're welcome. No, you sound fine, man. It just sound, it could be worse. You could be like talking to us on a rotary phone. So there's that.
Okay, specific.
I'm so glad we're all here. What's up, Peter? Pete's here too.
God, 3 different ways to say my name.
Peter
McPete. He's here.
That's one.
Petey Pablo.
Petey Pablo.
Remember him? Freak League.
I do.
Freak League.
That's an absolute banger of a song. I play it from time to time.
I do too. I mean,
yeah.
I do that, and then sometimes I even go check out goodies, and then realize that remember that Sierra is 18 when she made that song, and it's kind of creepy now that I'm thinking about it, because I'm pretty sure Petey Pablo was like 35. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Huh.
Anyway, that's in your brain now. Let's get into a podcast. How's that sound? It's been a while.
That sounds great. It's been a
while.
Guys.
We got a lot to catch up on and check in on, especially with all of us in our lives.
Very true.
Paul, I think we should start with you because you just went down to GCX and you just had a live episode, which I left you hanging out there. You did a live episode up on stage for the pod.
I did.
And I want to hear about it. How did that go?
It went. It was a little nerve-wracking. I got the day wrong. I was trying to find a guest. And then I was like, well, I need to find a guest host. And I was like, how many guests am I going to have? And, but no, it went so good, dude. Broman was there and he helped me out a lot. So he was the guest host. And I saw him like that morning because it was like that down to the minute. And he was like, what are we talking about? And I was like, we're talking about Deadpool, the original one. He was like, okay, I remember that. So
Easy.
He's like, doing research in the back before we did it, and but no, he was fantastic. He was awesome. He recast Weasel as who was it? Now I'm blanking on who it was. What's the dude who's in the meme who says "Hello, fellow youths," and he's got like the skateboard?
Oh, Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi, yeah,
yeah,
yes. So
yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's a great recast for Weasel. Actually, that'd be really good. So yeah, and then like getting the crowd involved was awesome because like, how many times are we just like what I just did, where it's like, who's that one guy who does that thing?
Yeah,
and the audience is like, it was Robert Downey Jr. or like whoever.
Yeah.
So getting them involved was a lot of fun. I actually really I don't know how often we could do a live one, but I think
you loved it, didn't you?
It was a lot of fun. It was fun.
TwitchCon? Question mark?
Dude,
I mean. I'm down. I think it's great, but it's just getting people to come watch it. It's gonna be wrong. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? No, absolutely down. But someone's having a baby, so
good point.
Not available, Trevor. I'm not sure if you forgot, but not available.
I did forget. Actually.
Yeah, I did forget. So yeah, so it was awesome. Highly recommend doing it again. Hopefully GCX next year we can do it again. And fun, so fun.
Yeah,
and maybe Pete could go. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe we could actually schedule it and make it a thing that we're all doing together. But the end of the summer here, August kind of turns into a little bit of a slog. I evidently for everybody, but I knew I felt that way when I was playing baseball because it's the same way. Like the dog days are definitely August. Like the trade deadline's over, and like it's just like 30 games where they don't really. You're not in a race. It's just kind of you're just getting them done so you can go. Either finish the season up in September or just be done. And it turns out that the rest of the world also feels that in August because everyone's like, we're going back to school. And then like even all the parents like, God, get the kids out of the house. Like it's a lot. It's a lot of that, a lot of waiting for the next thing to happen in September. So I felt it big time. And also I just decided to go to New York City 4 straight weekends in a row and then try to go to Orlando for GCX. And Kate basically just looked at me and was like, so you want to be home for a weekend maybe and maybe help me, I don't know, start a family? And I was like, okay, I got you. She did. So that, and I was so gassed to the point where I was like, dude, I can't even move. I just can't. And now I got to do it again. I'm going tomorrow. So it's the last one.
You leave tomorrow? Jeez.
Yeah, but just for 2 days, it's easy. And I've got 4 under my belt now, so I know how to prepare. Like, I'm not so stressed out about like I can get ready on the plane. Like, it's pretty easy. But enough about Paul and I. Oh, well, go ahead, Paul.
I was just gonna say, tell the people what you're going every weekend for. They might not know.
Oh yeah, I can't even remember if I freaking mentioned this. I don't even know if we've done a show since I started. But I've been doing Sunday Night Baseball for ESPN. I've had to fly out to. Been going Pier 17 in Manhattan, which is super cool. There's like it's a really famous, like everyone's seen it, and like it's in movies and stuff. There's always like pan overs, it's got a rooftop like concert venue, so there's always a concert going up above us, which is kind of crazy for a live TV show to be doing there, but neither here nor there.
Like that'd be a real audio issue, but.
But a couple weeks ago, I had to fly out when it was the Mets versus the Mariners in Seattle, and I flew to New York to cover it. So that was a tough pill to swallow, but it was so much fun. We killed it. We've had a couple really, really great shows where like the game kind of played out the way that really helped us get our point across. It's the Statcast. It's a bunch of nerd stuff. I talk about the stuff I talk about on my channels and stuff all the time, and they're just like, hey, come do this on the TV. So I said, great. And we've gotten great feedback, and people seem to really enjoy it. But this is the last one this weekend, and then I have not a single plane ticket booked until the calendar's going to flip, because
nice.
Obviously we got baby, and we're nesting, and that's when everyone else nests anyways at the end of the year. So
exactly,
that's what I got. That's what I've been up to, and I missed this. I've watched about 5,000 movies, so. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But Pete, what have you been up to, man? It's been a bit.
Peter,
it has been a bit. I'm trying to think of the last time we did one of these. I'm like, I
feel
you
like
there
every time Independence Day, you were,
yeah, I was there. I feel like every time we do one of these and we take like 3 weeks off, everyone's life like completely changes, right?
Yeah, that's usually why we take 3 weeks off.
Exactly. No, I've been I've gotten into running.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Are you in a run club?
Oh.
No, but like I was kind of getting bored of the gym, just really getting bored of the routine. And I started picking up some classes at Lifetime because I just joined that, like I mentioned in the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple classes that that are really fun, but I bought these like Nike shoes with like a carbon fiber plate in it that basically like propels you forward. And I just decided I was, I mean, they technically were banned. There was someone who ran like a marathon sub 2 hours in them, and it shattered records. And it was because of those shoes. And so they did ban them, and then they kind of changed the laws to fit this shoe, because the advancements of it have just become like ridiculous. But
what shoe is it?
No, spring plate, right? Like it's like, I know there's insoles that exist like
it's
that.
the
too.
Nike Alpha Fly, I think is what it's called. One of those, and it's nice. I mean, I really like it, and so I was just like, I'm just gonna test it out on the treadmill, and I did it, and I ended up running like 60 minutes, and I was just like, oh, this is pretty cool. And I've just have been doing it more often, and kind of sticking with more zone training. So like that's been what I've been working on. And then cooking, I've been like ramping up my cooking like crazy, like making a whole bunch of different things. And so I've really, really enjoyed it. And I would say those are the two big updates outside of just like having 7 jobs, it feels like, but money's money.
Yep. Money's money. Put it on my tombstone. So you're cooking. What's your favorite thing you've cooked so far? What have you escalated to? I gotta get a read on this.
So like this morning I made breakfast tostadas. So bean and cheese with an egg on it, with some crema and cilantro on top of a tostada, with a sunny side up egg. So it's still kind of like yolky on top.
Sounds so good.
I know. And then for lunch, I made a pasta salad that was a lemon pesto pasta salad with Parmesan Reggiano and mozzarella pearls.
Damn.
And I was going to make steak with lemon risotto tonight, but I'm pretty exhausted. Like this will be the third time I'm running the dishwasher today, so I'm just kind of like I want to give it a little bit of a break. But no, I mean there's this guy I follow on YouTube. I told you guys about him, but his name is Ethan Shablowski. And he's a big big YouTuber for food, and he makes a lot of really fun, unique recipes. And a lot of the stuff he uses, I've just found has made my life a lot easier to start making food. I think that was the biggest barrier.
Yes,
was I didn't want to like set things up. I didn't want to like go through a bunch of things just to make like a wrap, you know?
Yeah.
And so having a cast iron griddle that's like over my gas stove and like, you know, those like pre-seasoned, those kind of certain things, having things readily available has made it a whole lot easier. And I've actually now like have gotten like into the habit of being like, oh, okay, I want this, but if I order it on Grubhub, it'll take like 40 minutes, but I can make it in like 15 minutes. Right. And I've now gotten in that mindset of like, oh, I'll just make it then. And then I just end up making something.
Wow. Look at you and your good habits. That's how you do it. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Thank you for teaching me.
I've learned a lot about the habit system too. That's been one thing I've been reading up on a lot. So
the habit system.
Yeah, like it's the cue, the kind of routine, and then the reward. It's the try system, and where.
Oh my God, are you reading Atomic Habits? Please tell me this.
I did read that one, but
this sounds
is
like the most
one.
Trevor thing ever.
I know.
Right? No, by the way, Atomic Habits is the funniest. It's the most like funny cliche like airport self-help book. So everyone makes jokes about it all the time. But it is.
But there is something to it because like. I didn't want to make food, right? But I wanted the reward of eating food. And then my cue would be hungry. And so the routine would be to just open up the app and then order food.
Yep.
But if I change the routine to be like, no, I'm just going to make something, I still get the same reward. I still have the same cue. And that ultimately changes the habit. And so it's just, I've been really paying attention to like those things. Like I walk to Starbucks now every morning. I've done it since October. I walk 2 miles, I do it. And the cue is wake up and I want coffee. The reward is I get coffee. And in between it was okay, I'm just going to drive there, but now I'm just going to walk there. Right. And so that's, you just slowly have to do that kind of thing.
It feels like you and Trevor are becoming the same person. That's what it feels like to me.
Well, I think there's a reason that we have gravitated towards this podcast.
Two white guys from the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, well, that's a very Portland self-improvement. It's very Seattle, Portland, man.
Every morning.
Definitely.
But yeah, I've read all those books. Every single one of them I've read. I was a fan of Elon Musk at one point, guys. So let's just put it that way.
No way.
But through experience, you learn. That's awesome, man. That's awesome to hear. Kate's actually talking a lot about habits right now too, because it's part of her schooling. And I realized how strongly I associate things with other things. So like there's times where I've like just like been messing around in Minecraft, for example, but like listening to a book, and it was like a series. So I listened to like the books for hours and hours while I was working on some big project, and then I associate them. So when I hear the book, I think of Minecraft, and vice versa. When I play do that type of thing, I think of that book, that story, right? Yeah. So it's like you can create connections that way, and so there's some testing people are doing about like adding other senses involved. So like you can make it so you're working out, like there's a certain smell you smell that like a candle's on. You light a candle every single time, so that every time you smell that candle, you have a stronger desire to work out.
I mean that's like the entire toothpaste industry.
Yeah, it's like the whole thing. Yeah. The minty fresh stuff. It doesn't actually do anything. It just makes you feel cleaner. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there are ways to do it to yourself, so you're not just being subliminally marketed to. Anyways, that's interesting, man. I'm very happy we could go down and do this. This is turning into obsessed really quickly, but I would like to shift gears and really quickly because I think this is a great thing to add a little bit to our intro, and I wrote it in the rundown. I hope you guys saw it. But just like there's a lot of great stuff coming out soon. I mentioned that I've been watching crazy amounts of movies. I watch like 2 movies both ways, so I watch like 4 movies every time I go to New York now. I've been just revisiting things and picking it apart. I'm actually making a mockumentary right now about that wiffle ball league with a kid who happens to be the producer, the guy who does all the camera work, like on the board behind the scenes
cool.
when they broadcast. But he went to film school and he graduated last year. So he's like, "Oh, I'm looking for film stuff to do." I'm like,
Wow.
let's do this. You know all about this league too. Let's make this thing." So we're trying to make like a 40-minute mockumentary. I did a bunch of filming the other day. It's awesome.
Damn, fun.
But anyways, but I've been watching movies like from a technical standpoint. Like, why didn't I like that part? Why didn't that line of dialogue bothered me? Why? Like that kind of thing. That's kind of the next step because I want to make something. So I've been watching all kinds of things, and there's lots of shows, and especially in the animated side, that are coming out in the rest of this year. And I wanted to see if you guys have anything that you're looking forward to, whether it's a movie or a show. I think that shows are things that all of us, I know that this pod isn't about shows, but we watch a lot of shows. You have 2 small children, Pete, you work from home, right? We tend to watch lots of shows when we don't leave our houses as much as a lot of other people. So anything you guys are watching, listening to, or not listening to, but watching or looking forward to watching?
I feel like I'm watching Shogun right now. Kind of working my way through it.
Phenomenal.
Really, really liking it. It's a tough show to watch just because I tend to either watch a show with my wife or I watch it on my own while I do other things. And so subtitles are tough. But I've been doing a good amount of traveling, so it's been nice to kind of just focus on the show. But it's such a good show. I like it a lot. And then also Demon Slayer is actually hard left turn, but kinda is a anime. That's super good.
How far in are you in the new season?
I'm all the way to the end. Yeah, I got to the most recent. To the end of the most recent. I'm not sure if you watched that, Trevor.
I did.
Yeah, holy frick! So
I'm caught up. It's awesome.
Loving that. And then, but like looking forward to actually watching. Weirdly enough, this is like I don't know.
Here it comes.
Here's a little bit weird. I'm looking forward to Rings of Power.
Yeah, me too, dude. I am. The trailer got me. Oh, the trailer got me so hard.
Dude, but I think I'm looking forward to it because I feel like I'm gonna trash it. Like I'm just gonna take a dump all over. Like
win-win.
That's the thing. It's like either this thing is amazing and they're like, hey, wow, people really hated the first season. Maybe we should change it. Or they're gonna be like, nah, let's just double down and I can hate it all the more. So yeah, it's a win-win either way. But that's what I'm excited for.
Yeah, if it's gonna be goofy, they might as well have a bunch of combat, which it looks like there is a lot more of.
That's true. Yes, thankfully more combat. Combat does cover a multitude of sins, so it helps.
It does.
Yeah.
It really does. Rings of Power, dude. I'm with you on that one. What about you, Pete? Any movies or anything coming in?
I mean, yes, the sequel to this movie is a big deal in this household. That's coming.
Hey, just say the name, soon. Man. Let's let them know. What are we about to talk about?
It's I can't say it 3 times. Wink, wink. No. Beetlejuice is a big thing that we are very excited about. My wife is just the minute that trailer was announced, like screamed. This is like her all-time favorite movie, and so it's a no-brainer that we picked it for this one. But for me, what I'm excited about watching, college football, guys. Like tomorrow is week 0. I'm gonna watch it.
Insane, isn't it? Or week 2?
Week 1 is next week. I'm gonna watch like my Saturdays are officially college football Saturdays. So that's gonna be happening for the next 13, 14 weeks. So
dang, that's nice. Awesome. That's awesome. There is one week that's like crazy. It's like the top. I don't know. There's like single-digit teams matched up, like 4 different games. Like 8 of the top 10 are all playing each other, and it's like in week 1 or 2. Like it's early, so like, yeah, I don't know. I can't remember which one, but it's soon. And there's people who are like, I don't exist on this day. This is all I'm doing. So that's great, dude. College football really fits into the nature of this pod. I will go last, and I will say also Rings of Power. The trailer got me a little bit. It looks like there's maybe more meat on the bone, but again, we still have the same actors. So we'll see how if the writing improved. But on the animated side, there are 2 shows that come out before the end of the year that I am fired up about. One is the War of the Rohirrim.
Oh,
which is 200 years before the Lord of the Rings. It is an animated movie.
Oh, nice.
And it is an anime style.
Ooh.
And it looks sick. Check out that trailer. Also, have you guys seen the other show coming out called Secret Level?
No.
So it's from Death, Love, and Robots, the creators of Death, Love, and Robots.
Nice.
But it's a video game anthology. There's 14 games. They're making an episode for about 14 different games.
Oh, sick.
Which is brilliant. It's just think about it this way. It'll be a 30-minute like cutscene or like a cinematic for a bunch of different games.
Nice.
They got New World in there. They got some like older platformer games too from like PlayStation, which should be interesting. All different animation styles. And I think, there's 14 episodes. It's going to be sick. And I think they're going to all come out at the same time. So
that's so cool.
Color me excited. And then Arcane season 2 comes out.
Oh, yes, December, Arcane. Yes.
Which is one of the best shows. I watch that. To this day, still one of the best shows I've seen.
Have you not seen it, Pete?
No, I haven't.
Dude, you're lucky. You will love it. You will be like, dude, this is really good.
It's so good.
It's really good. It's fun but it's also serious enough. I don't know. It's up there with like Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man movies, Into the Spider-Verse. Like
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I would put it in that realm. Gosh, what else? I had one other one. Movies wise, not a ton of movies because everything's a sequel. Vince Vaughn said it right. You got to have IP now in the LA or in Hollywood. I don't know if you guys saw the Hot Ones he did, but he's just like, you can't basically get a greenlit movie unless it already has a presence, which sucks. Wildly annoying for creative people. Like, so all the good stuff that's original is all independent and it's only happening at the festivals now. So and then big studios are just going to go buy them, which sucks.
Yuck.
But that's how it's made now, which is actually kind of exciting for me because I'm like, cool, now I don't have to like go through the gatekeeping and I can make something cool and make it myself and see if anyone likes it. But that's how it is now. So like Beetlejuice, like I was a little tempered. Beetlejuice, but then again, they got everyone except for the one guy who we'll talk about in a bit that should not be recast for a very good reason that you guys maybe not know. But we have one of those again. We have an actor who did some effed up shit 20 years ago and should not be in any more movies. All right, and let's just go right into that.
What
movie,
a segue.
Let's just talk about it. We are doing Beetlejuice, the original Tim Burton's Beetlejuice, starring Michael Keaton. Freaking amazing. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this from anyone.
Oh yeah.
That was incredible. We have Winona Ryder. We got who else? Alec Baldwin, Gina Davis, Catherine O'Hara, Jeffrey Jones, and that's everyone. And Tim Burton was an absolute legend at this time as well when this came out. So it made just under 85 million worldwide, which isn't a ton, but it's not bad for a $15 million budget, especially with the amount of like practical effects, like the stop motion stuff, all that stuff. $15 million. That's insane.
That's really good. Yes,
you could fit 7 of these into one.
That's also paying the actors, right? Like
that's also paying the actors. So a lot of these were like Winona Ryder had been in something, but she wasn't a star yet. This was one of the big reasons she became one.
Yeah.
For a little bit, anyways, before she kind of didn't want to be anymore. Catherine O'Hara, same thing. This is before Home Alone. And Michael Keaton was fairly unknown too. This is right before he went on a run. So like Tim Burton kind of put everyone on the map a little bit with this one. Alec Baldwin I still am blown away it was him. He looks so young and skinny.
He does, dude. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah.
But before we kind of get into the breakdown of the movie, do you guys have your your one sentence description of this movie? Because I have a good one. I think I can start us off if you need to think. If not, I'll just do it. I'll just give it.
You do it.
If you're wondering what Beetlejuice is really about, it's Tim Burton's take on The Conjuring. If the scary part was just the interior design. So, and what I mean by that is, it's in Sleepy Town in Connecticut, because that's where every horror movie was made for about 20 years. Every single one took place in Sleepy Town in Connecticut.
Oh yeah, yep.
Which was on purpose, and I don't think people really made that connection. But again, he just went with the same trope, the horror trope. Tim Burton did, which I thought was really clever, and cool and good.
Yeah.
It won an Academy Award for Best Makeup. Duh.
Yeah, of course.
I thought the I thought the moss on Michael Keaton's lip was pretty good. We got a couple nominations for BAFTA, some Saturn Award nominations. They actually won Best Horror Film, which is funny, considering it's not technically a horror film. It's actually listed here as fantasy, comedy, and horror. So, wow. Not a lot of movies get 3.
That's wow. Fantasy, comedy. Oh, yeah. Definitely comedy, obviously. Yeah, okay.
And the composer, Danny Elfman, he's made a lot of really good stuff, and he works with, after this movie's made, he works with Tim Burton a lot. Like Edward Scissorhands, Edward Scissorhands, Sweeney Todd, a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
So overall, really popular movie. And
are we not doing the sentence?
Are we not what?
This one sentence?
The one sentence. Oh yeah, give me the one sentence. I didn't know if you guys wanted to do it. Hit me.
No, it's fine. I was just thinking. I mean, this is a little bit spicy. I don't know.
Spicy.
Alec Baldwin lets his wife drive one time,
and they drive off the one bridge.
If he had just driven, we might not have had a movie.
Oh my god, dude! Jesus. I'll be honest. I did not see that coming.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, it was a little spicy. It was a little spicy one. This is spicy,
but good.
Yeah. P, you got anything? You watched this movie 30,000 times. It's your favorite movie of all time.
If a live action Courage the Cowardly Dog had a movie that featured everything that Me Too was against,
oh my! What?
That would be this movie.
About misogyny, basically.
I mean, yes, the one time she drives off a cliff, dead. The fact that he's marrying like a 12-year-old, really fucking weird. You know what I mean? There's a lot of weird things going on here. The fact that she, the mom is some crazy psycho that can't control her family. Yeah, that's a trope, right? Like it's, the one designer that is obviously very flamboyant. Yeah, trope right there, right?
Trope,
like there's just.
Yeah, a lot of tropes.
It's just
the guy makes all the money. The woman just does art, and it sucks.
Yeah,
exactly. Tropes. And he's an tropes. Eddie Bauer. I'm sitting in a wood, office. Don't talk to me, kind of thing. Yeah, trope. It's just if Courage the Cowardly Dog had a live action movie with everything against Me Too, that is what this is.
That's very, very aptly put. Actually, it leads us right into our Letterboxd reviews, man.
Sydney, that's right.
Sydney gives it 3.5 stars, and she says this movie understands the joy that can be found in absolutely nothing making sense.
True.
Yeah. Really good. Like the whole time you're like, what was that? And don't worry about it, and you just kind of move on because it's okay because it doesn't really matter if you know what it means.
Exactly.
Just watch the spectacle, the crazy spectacle. 5 stars from Movie Boy says, love this prequel to Schitt's Creek, and that is in reference to, Catherine O'Hara also being more very similar. Oh, actually, it's almost like Moira is almost like Winona Ryder's character growing up. So, kind of interesting. There is some connection there. But yeah, she walked in this movie so she could run in Schitt's Creek for sure. And then the half star from Kelvic says this review may contain spoilers. I didn't like it. Okay, Kelvic.
So good.
I hear you, dude. I'm picking up what you're putting down. It's a bit. It's. You're right. You're right. Thank you for letting us know about those spoilers. That was very helpful.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's our Letterboxd reviews. You know what? But we do have an ad, Paul. We do have an ad. I hope you see it because I would love for you to read it to the people. I even wrote it for you, dude. I wrote
you want me to read this,
with my own fingers.
On my phone? All right, let's do it, man.
All right.
This episode of the May Contain Action podcast is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Fantasy sports are a frickin' blast. For me, it scratches the competitive itch that I haven't had since I retired from Major League Sports.
That's me. Ha ha! Got him. Boom! Anyway, sorry, continue.
No, of course. In that spirit, May Contain Action has partnered with Underdog to bring the joy of fantasy sports to our listeners. Play your way with daily pick'ems, drafts, and more. Visit UnderdogFantasy.com or find them in the App Store And don't forget to register with promo code MCA to claim your special pick, plus first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. That's code MCA with account activation. Now back to the pod.
Thank you, Underdog. Oh, dang it. I talked during you talking. Dang it.
Come on.
They're going to love this. It's okay. I'll do it in post. I won't do it in post. That's going to go on just the way it was. We are with Underdog. So thank you, Underdog, for sponsoring the pod. And they will be around. They're going to be good friends with us. And it is, I've been poking around. It's fun. I'm having fun.
I'm having fun.
Having fun. And it is fantasy sports.
Oh, yeah.
Fantasy sports. We got to be very clear. It's just playing fantasy sports. Check it out. Don't forget to use the code if you decide to continue. Let's get into the categories. And I was thinking recently, guys.
Yeah. What are you thinking?
What would you think about as we give our answers to some of these questions? We kind of just go around the circle one answer at a time. Just kind of keep it flowing that way. Instead of everyone says all their stuff, we move on to the next guy. So no one's silent for 20 minutes. But sometimes we do that, and I just noticed, it's a little bit more fun that way. So we'll do that outside of the guest ratings, obviously, because I want all your ratings first, because then you can't steal them from each other.
All right.
Well, at least the second one can't steal everything from the first one. All right. Who was it? Pete? I believe, if I remember correctly, Paul went first last time.
Yeah, you go.
Pete, you go first.
Yeah, I'll take it.
You're going first.
Rotten Tomatoes. I'm gonna go 82.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 82. I think it's because Tim Burton is Tim Burton, and people love that. I don't think it's gonna be critically acclaimed, but I think it's just one of those movies you always have to play. During spooky season. IMDb probably gonna go 7.5, and then Letterboxd I'll go 4. I think this is more of a beloved, like, oh, that was kind of quirky or fun type of movie for the youth. So I'm gonna go higher for that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I like those that reasoning. Rotten Tomatoes, I'm gonna go 82. I'm gonna go 76.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 76. IMDb.
What's the?
Those are my thinking sounds.
Jesus.
I'm gonna go 61. Letterboxd 2.2. Yeah,
2.2 on Letterboxd. You think they're just decimating this movie, huh?
I think people. I don't know. I think people don't like it.
Well, you're wrong. They do like it. It's almost like PM knows this movie better than anybody. Let me hit you with this. Rotten Tomatoes is 82% by critics and audience.
Wow.
So 82 exactly. IMDb 7.5 exactly.
Wow.
Whoa.
It's almost as if he knows we have this category. And Letterboxd is a 3.8. You were close.
Close.
Dang.
Yeah.
But
I just felt like it was one of those that a lot of like the really niche community is just like, this is so awesome. Like, I love this movie, even though it's not the best. It just makes me feel good.
Well, he has a very distinct style, and that is clear. And this is one of his first really takes at that. The really interesting thing about this movie is Michael Keaton is Beetlejuice, and we'll talk about him in a second because he's just like, his acting he's just out of control. It's insane.
Yeah.
He's crazy. And then he immediately gets Tim Burton's Batman the next year.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, what about him playing Beetlejuice made you want him to be Batman? Maybe they were just like, he's just a good actor, right? I saw that he was a method and he could do it, because I'm like, there's nothing that translates here. And then let's talk a little bit about that style, because he is definitely in kind of a genre of his own. Like, you say Tim Burton made it, you know what it looks like, right? Kind of like if you said Wes Anderson made that, you'd be like, oh, okay, I know what that looks like, all 90-degree angles, and like they have very specific styles. I like it, but I don't love Tim Burton. I think it's just because it's the horror side of it. Like, I just not a huge fan. I grew up on Nightmare Before Christmas, right? Which is one of his most famous, probably the one that got him all these opportunities. And I love that. But like, when it's animated, it's easier to kind of, for it to be, I don't know, feel unreal and less serious. And then he live actions it, and I'm like, ooh, I just, creepiness. It just takes a couple notches down, but it's still very well
Yeah.
made. What about you guys? Like, how do you feel about Timber? I know, Pete, your wife loves this. How do you?
Oh, she's obsessed with it. Rocky Horror
Like the
Picture
style.
Show is like another big one too. Like all of those movies are like some of her favorites. He just I don't I it does kind of off put me just a little bit.
Off-putting, that's a good way to put
But
it.
like there's something that I can appreciate like artistically about it, if that makes sense. It's not for me, but like I can appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like I totally I'm appreciating more and more how hard it is to do a lot of things he does and how he chooses to do them on purpose, because even though it's harder to do it that way, like he has a vision and he wants it to be that vision. I think that people who make movies like that or make art like that tend to make good stuff more often because they don't deviate off of the things they think it should be just so it can sell.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff,
Yeah,
right?
I mean the 1989 Batman I think is a good example of it too.
Yeah,
that style is,
which again,
it feels like it's grotesque, and it's like not the most, like, it's not my cup of tea, but I appreciate that it exists in the realm, in the universe of movie making. So, like, I've also never seen Nightmare on Elm Street, or Nightmare on Elm Street, Nightmare
really,
Before Christmas.
you should.
I've actually seen Nightmare on Elm Street, but not Before Christmas. So, uh, I appreciate that people like it. Like, some people love Tim Burton, but I remember watching Beetlejuice when I was a kid and thinking like this was like hard to swallow. Like, some of the grotesque shapes that they take was like, oh boy, like I feel uncomfortable. So yeah, it's a little bit much, but I mean, I appreciate, like I said, I appreciate that it's there. It's just a lot.
Anyone who can find a way to make Johnny Depp have scissors come out of his hands for a cinematic flick.
Yeah. That was
yeah, there's a reason him and Johnny Depp link up a few times on movies as well, because Johnny's pretty good at messing around in this. I can't remember if he made Sleepy Hollow or if that was somebody else. It didn't seem so gothic.
Yes, he did.
He did. Yeah,
he did. I'm pulling it up right now, and I mean, he did Nightmare Before Christmas, The Corpse Bride, Edward Scissorhands, Alice in Wonderland, Batman 1989, the original 2001 Planet of the Apes.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. That makes a lot of
sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very distinct. You know, it's not for everyone. It's not like we're all like, oh, Tim Burton, let's do a Tim Burton marathon watching, which I know there are those people out there, but still enjoyable movies and still high quality.
Yeah. I mean, Mars Attacks.
Oh, like, dude. Yeah,
I remember that.
That was hard to watch as a kid. Yeah, that freaked me out.
That was terrifying.
Freaked me out bad.
It was supposed to be goofy, and it's like they're supposed to be goofy, but they're also scary. Like, it's so funny. It's like, haha, I look how goofy I am, and then you're like people are getting evaporated. You're like, okay, I don't like that. Very much.
Yeah, exactly.
You're showing it all. And that's very much part of his. It's kind of like Tarantino with just ridiculous gore.
Exactly.
He just likes to do it. Because it adds, it's comedy to him. When he grew up, that like he would go see those weird slasher flicks. Jesus, what did I just say? I have an aneurysm. Flicks in the movie theater, and everyone would like laugh at the super kitschy parts, and so he kind of just like ran with that. That's why he makes that stuff. So it's kind of just part of his thing. Which kind of takes us to the opening scene, because with this type of story, it's hard to establish it.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the opening scene. I thought he did a good job of like setting this is what it's about.
Yes. Yeah.
But we didn't get a Vivian strutting down the street either, did we?
No. Well, we haven't gotten a Vivian strut down the street in a while. That sounds Undercover Brother, I think. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was good. I mean, you know, it told me kind of what I was getting into. I think pretty straightforward. It kind of had that like 80s-ish kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
I always kind of compare it to like Uncle Buck. I don't know. It just kind of feels like.
Yeah, it was a lot like Uncle Buck. I love the barber just talking to nobody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it just kind of has. Everything has
that.
like the same feel. Like, it's just kind of like everything feels a little bit eerie, like a little bit weird. I don't know. Like, even for this movie, I know it's obviously like a comedy horror, but everything from that era just kind of felt like something's not right. Like, everything feels a little bit off. I don't know.
Do you know what's interesting? I thought, and this is also the intro. Like, if you're setting up a horror movie, there's usually some more darkness involved, and it was bright.
Yeah,
like the whole. It's always daytime.
It's daytime, yes, exactly. Yep.
Which is interesting for like with horror elements. PM, what do you think of the intro?
I mean, I like the miniature set, the way it kind of panned over to show like the town that they're in. It just felt like something that would come from like the 90s or the 80s, right? Like it just felt like that kind of thing. And I think initially every time that I rewatch this, it's like every year I keep forgetting that like he has a toy set that he's working on. Like I always think that's just like them trying to do special effects and it just looking terrible. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know how Independence Day, they made like miniature sizes of, you know, the White House to blow up.
Yeah.
So I always make the mistake of thinking that's like what they're trying to do for special effects. And you know, it just, the text, like I always think about the text with like the white glow around it.
Yeah,
too.
like the
just,
Ghostbusters text.
Yeah, it just exactly. It just feels like Ghostbusters, and then he puts a spider, and just no. It's just I'm out. Like it's just I don't know. It doesn't feel like a horror movie. It feels like a combination of like
fantasy horror and comedy by chance.
Yeah, maybe like Harrison Ford's gonna come in and like be my dad, and like we're gonna go homeward bound kind of thing.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. He's like approaching he's like approaching other genres from different directions.
Yeah,
combination.
Which is honestly, there's a lot of crossover. I think with how this movie's more grotesque, a little bit more on the horror side, less in the comedy than say Ghostbusters is. But Ghostbusters has a lot of the same stuff too. Like there's scenes where you're like, oh, this is actually kind of scary, right? It's not quite a horror; it's more of an adventure. Like, but still, like I thought there was a lot of crossover. I think there's a lot. They share a lot of the same audience. But I did like the intro, even though you know the car crash when the car crashes. If we kind of cut it at when they die and they realize they're dead. When the car flips and they're like, it's very clearly in like 8 feet of water. I'm like, that killed them.
Yeah,
but also at the same time, I'm like, sure, I don't need it to be an ocean, you know, like stuff happens all the time. The funniest thing that I didn't even know going in, and this kind of brings us to the next one. This movie's rated PG somehow,
bruh.
Yeah.
Still, they haven't changed it, so which is crazy because I believe at one point, Beetlejuice says. He kicks over a tree, says "nice fucking model," and then grabs his junk twice and goes. And I'm like, this is parental guidance.
The 80s were wild.
I think back then you were allowed one swear word,
and they just
I think you still are.
F-bomb.
Yeah. Didn't Guardians of the Galaxy, the third one, have a F-bomb in it? It did.
I think they upped it.
You can have one F-bomb. And I think there's a limit on like shits and dams.
Oh sure, of course. Why wouldn't there be?
I believe. Yeah. But I just felt like that was a very like in your face.
Didn't Family Guy make fun of that?
Probably. They should.
By breaking crazy. Or was it South Park? It was one of those that like broke the amount of times they said fuck in an episode.
Yeah.
I like paused it. I looked at Kate, I was like, Jesus Christ, what's this rated? He goes, PG. I was like, okay. That insinuates that kids under 13 should watch it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you shouldn't.
No.
Probably not.
Well, as long as they have their parents there to guide them. You know what I mean? It's really that makes all the difference.
It's got to be PG. Yeah. I think that this is a PG-13. I know the new one's PG-13 too, but definitely I don't think it should be. I think we're all together on this. PG maybe a little bit low. I don't know. I just out of nowhere. Like not only that, Baldwin and Barbara have left. Like he's by himself.
Wait a second. Wait.
He's just yelling at himself. Like they've left. They've walked away from him, and he's just like nice model. Just like randomly threw it in right there for some comedic effect.
Are we talking about it being PG or PG-13?
No, the new movie Beetlejuice is PG-13. The old one is PG still.
What the?
Even with that scene, exactly. Does that make any sense?
No, this movie is horrifying.
No.
What?
Yeah, it's horrifying. There's a lot of stuff that I thought that was a little bit
nightmare fuel.
But maybe all the dancing, all the Harry Belafonte music.
Yeah, all
was
the
just
underage
fine.
marriage, you know.
There's that. Yeah, there's the underage marriage. A little bit weird.
Wow.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah.
What about best scenes though?
Best scenes.
What do you guys got for your favorite sequences? Let's go around one at a time so we don't steal them all. And I won't take the obvious one. I will say the scene, basically the first time they see the Beetlejuice commercial.
Yeah.
When he goes and he just goes on his monologue. I loved.
Yep.
I know they filmed that separately. I thought that was awesome. And also, they're so confused. They're like, Betelgeuse. What the hell? And I was like, what the hell is this? He's not very good at. I said this out loud. I was like, he's not very good at marketing himself. Yeah, Trevor. That's the point.
That's the point. Yeah.
He's an idiot. That's the point. So well done.
Yes. Oh, doggies.
Yeah, doggies love them.
Love you, dogs.
I'll go.
Yeah, you go, buddy.
I like the lobby scenes a lot, especially with like the one I always laugh at is the guy who like died of like being in a house fire and he's like still smoking. That like you know those little lobby scenes are great. The guy with the small head, right? And the fact that he's trying to like cut the line constantly, I think is great too. So I'll go with any one of those like office lobby scenes are great. The football team that shows up too, that's great too.
I would say
a lot of little nuggets in there.
My favorite scenes were basically any time they encountered Beetlejuice in the model. I just like whenever Lydia goes to talk to him. I don't know. I enjoyed those the most. Like when she goes and finds him, he's just like chilling on the gravestones. I don't know. It's just kind of like he's like this little pocket-sized Beetlejuice, and he's kind of like helpless.
Well, one of those that's great is the strip club one.
Yeah.
He's like, I just need to find somewhere. It's like to take the load off, and all of a sudden the red light comes on. He's like, ooh, and he like combs his like terrible hair, and he's like dancing. He's like, yeah, and he's like walking over to it.
Exactly. Yes. So anytime he's in the model, I look forward to all those scenes. Those are all really good ones. And holy frig, I feel like I need to rewatch it with the context of it being PG now. Like, I did not realize that. Oh my gosh, this movie's not appropriate
nuts.
at all.
It's nuts. I loved a little nugget that I noticed was when they turned him down the first time. They're like, nah, we don't need it. We're going to try it again. And then the next time they see him in the model, he's wearing his famous striped suit. That's supposed to look like a prisoner's outfit, but but he's wearing a suit because he's trapped in the model. Like he's like can't help. Like, so the whole thing is he's not in prison, but he is in prison. He's in limbo. He's stuck in limbo with everybody else. So technically he is a prisoner, and then he can't help them either. So he's like, I'm just stuck here, just hanging out. And then that's why he changes into that. And I just put that together.
Oh,
because I'm like, what does that look like? It looks like a 50s movie. What they made like people in jail.
I thought it was just like some crazy, like, I don't know, flamboyant kind of horror themed outfit.
I think it's supposed to be both, but yeah, it kind of has double meaning. Wow,
double meaning. Wow, very cool.
What a film! What a filmmaker. Also the dinner party scene when they're all dancing to Harry Belafonte.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah, that's a good one.
And then they're like, "Oh, we're being haunted," but then they get all excited because like, we can sell this.
Classic New Yorkers.
Classic New Yorkers, man.
Oh yeah, trying to make a buck.
Just pillaging Connecticut. Just won't leave it alone, man. Just won't leave it alone.
Like Tim Burton might be from New England. I don't know.
It's interesting.
Some undertones.
Pretty interesting. Yeah, he like also like a lot of the business stuff they talked about, like, hey, like you can buy the whole town, and he doesn't explain why that's going to be lucrative or like what, like why do we want to buy a town, like why is this town so valuable, because they didn't know about the ghost when they moved there. So it's probably a commentary on some sort of capitalism, probably. But I don't know. But I like that scene. I thought it was really well done. And but yeah, all the rating room scenes were great. Even the when they went full claymation, because I know he loves claymation, he loves stop motion, and he loves miniatures. So I love that he built that into the plot point too. So every time they made it so there were miniatures, so they could go into the miniatures all the time. Really clever. I thought it was really
yes. Yeah, that's really cool.
But pretty much every time he shows up is great. I didn't like when he was a snake though. That was one I did not like.
Yeah.
But there were also a lot of quotes, a lot of good quotes. The Vince Vaughn Award for best quotes, which is now ironic, by the way, because I just listened to an episode of the show that gave me the idea for us to do this, and they did quotes from Dodgeball, and their whole point was that Vince Vaughn didn't have any of the good quotes.
Oh, that is ironic.
And then everyone else had all the quotes. I was like, oh yeah, shit.
You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Like that is like the one movie he's in where none of the quotes you remember are his. The only one you remember is like when he's like, I find that having no expectations means that you can never be disappointed. But that's it. That's all I remember. It's from the very beginning, and then everything else is just him being like.
We got to rewatch that.
Because I think that's on the list because that one's I haven't seen it in a long time, and there is so many. Joni loves Chachi. I just can't.
Yes.
There's so many. That should be up on our list next. But quotes. Sorry, quotes.
Favorite quotes.
All right, someone else go first.
All right.
Paul, you go first. You go first.
Okay, I'll go first. I got two. All right, here's one. Guys, we're not going to see this coming. It's Beetlejuice. I thought that was fantastic. I like how they delivered it 3 times. Super, super good. No, I think I actually agree. One of my favorite ones is one we already mentioned. After he kicks down a model tree. Nice fucking model. It was just so unexpected. It just came out of nowhere that it was like the most memorable for me. So that's my favorite quote. All right, you go ahead, Pete. You go ahead. We'll keep it short and sweet.
Two of them.
Yeah.
One of them was before at the strip club where he says, "Go ahead and make my millennium," and then just laughs. It's so on brand with like his style. Millennium. Yes. Like it's just perfect, right? That one, and then the one I'm gonna have to look up because I don't know the full quote. I'm gonna see if I can look this up real quick. But the one where he was where they basically got sucked into the model and he was basically just like trying to say he was going to sleep with his wife and like take his wife, and then he was like the husband was like, well, asking him about his qualifications. Yeah. And here, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, he said, I attended Juilliard. I'm a graduate of the Harvard Business School. I traveled quite extensively. I lived through the Black Plague and had a pretty good time during that. I've seen The Exorcist about 167 times, and it keeps getting funnier every single time I see it. Not to mention the fact that you're talking to a dead guy. Like that part, I just think that whole delivery was so perfect.
Oh, incredible. And he's running out of breath the whole time.
I just love he's like a total sleazeball the entire time, right? And then they go, what are your qualifications? And he goes, well, I actually attended Juilliard. I went to the Harvard business. He changes his demeanor for like a brief second.
Yeah, his acting is incredible in this.
Yeah, he's going crazy. Like there's one point where he says something that is supposed to be funny. I've still to this moment don't know what he said. Like he said something so crazy, like just screamed it like that. I was like, what the hell was that? So we watched it twice, and it was one of those ones where the subtitles weren't exact. So I was like, that's not what he's saying.
Dang.
Like that word's not in there. I don't know what he's doing, but he just really leaned into that. I had one. Let's turn on the juice and see what shakes loose.
Yeah, that was good. Good. Yes.
Yep. That's a good one.
Pretty much every time he freaking talked.
It was like poetry every time he talked. He had some sort of rhyme or riddle or something. Yeah.
Lydia had a good one. She said, I myself am weird and off. Would she say weird and off-putting? Was that?
Something
like that. But like when they're explaining, it's only for the people. It's only for people who are weird and off-putting. I myself am weird and off-putting. I thought that was pretty good too. I think she was great, actually. I thought Winona was wonderful in this movie.
I myself am strange and unusual. That's what she says.
I myself am strange and unusual. Which, again, what's the whole trope about horror movies? Like, we don't see ghosts because we don't believe them.
Yeah, exactly.
But then you get the one that does. And by the way, on Letterboxd, way too many reviews, like calling her their gothic mommy. Everyone loved her. I was like, okay, she's like 15, guys.
Yikes.
But they're like, but we would love to. They can't wait to see the next one because she's now an adult.
Oh
and
yeah,
Gothic.
there you go. She's a full-grown adult. I mean,
It gets weird over there. For sometimes. Any other quotes for you guys? And if anything else that you loved?
I mean,
what's the wife's favorite quote?
Oh, that's a good question. Do you want me to
what
bring
is the
her
one
in
she
to
says
ask?
all the time?
The wife's favorite quote? What do you mean? Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see. Holly.
Yeah, bring her in here.
I'm gonna see if I can get her in here real quick.
Yeah, okay. We'll hold it down while you're finding her.
Hold it down while
Kate.
you're finding her.
Kate's here too. Kate, what was your favorite quote from Beetlejuice?
Beetlejuice.
Yeah, Paul already chose that one.
I know I love Kate. It was great.
Yeah.
We are gonna ask you. Okay, here she is. She's coming. She's taking her time.
She's taking your time.
Okay, you got to say
Favorite
your favorite
quote.
quotes from Beetlejuice.
Oh no, that's too hard.
What's
Just one. We only need one.
Okay. Well, Ghost with the most.
Of course.
Is
Of course.
good.
Ghost with the most. Okay.
Ghost with the most.
How about favorite scene?
Yeah,
I
hit
feel
us
this
with
is two
favorite
on the spot.
Yeah, it is 2 on the spot.
Okay.
Well, the shrimp scene, the dinner scene where they dance. Is the best.
That's true.
Yeah.
It is the best one.
The
She's
shrimp
right.
scene, the end where Lydia gets to float, she get in the air when she gets to fly, basically. I don't know the dead football team in the afterlife
In the lobby.
That's cool. They're cool. I like them.
And then they're also dancing at the end.
Exactly.
They're also dancing at the end. Yes.
Yeah, dance at the end on the stairs.
I'm trying to see what else should we ask her while she's here.
Oh gosh.
She doesn't need. She can go if she wants. She does.
Who's the favorite character?
Yeah, who's your favorite character?
Beetlejuice. Obviously.
Yeah,
okay.
Mikey.
No, but
Mikey
he's
K.
like the best. And I love that I think he talks for like 5 minutes or something. Like I guess 5 minutes total of dialogue throughout the entire movie. He's like barely
in it. That's true.
I'm gonna ask, how excited are you for Beetlejuice?
Way too excited.
Can you explain how you screamed when you saw that trailer and then how you signed up for the extra premiere?
Well, I don't know how I screamed. I'm just like super excited. Cannot wait. I was gonna take the day off, but then got even more advanced tickets, so I don't have to do that now.
She was gonna take the day off of work.
I respect it.
I love it. I love it.
I've done more for less.
But I just want you to know we were watching a movie and it popped up on the previews and she audibly like screamed in the theater of like joy.
Oh, in the theater. Oh,
yeah.
Love it.
Oh boy.
So
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, she's now reading the script that you wrote, Trevor. She's trying to. She's trying to see if there's anything she wants to comment on.
All right. Well, we just have the next 3. The bottom 3 are what we're on. So
these are the bottom 3 that we're on.
If she wants to hang out and participate on your side, she can. 100%. Yeah. Because we are kind of getting running a little long too. So I would like to push it forward.
Yes, go ahead.
Because he's Tim Burton and he's got very specific style, I thought we could touch on costume design, score, sound effects, and setting. How did we feel about them? I loved them. Starting with costume design, I love the costumes. I give it a 10 out of 10 on costumes. I thought the costumes were incredible.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that.
Lydia was awesome. Yeah. When she's wearing the veil at dinner, which chef's kiss, great touch. I mean, he's Tim Burton. He does great costumes, but it must be just an absolute pain in the ass to get the makeup done for these movies. How do you guys feel about the costumes? I thought they were the best
Agreed.
part.
Yeah, I thought they were all fantastic. I love that they kind of fit every scenario. Yeah. The waiting room was great because it felt like a costume designer's dream. They'll just make a bunch of random shit for these different characters that won't even really be in the movie that much. So that was great.
Yeah. Well, I actually went as Beetlejuice 2 years ago for
Halloween.
So yeah. So
man,
can't hate it.
Wasn't your wife Lydia?
How to make the lady happy, man.
Yeah, she was Lydia, and I was Beetlejuice. Hold on, she just yelled at me that she just found her favorite quote.
All right,
I already said that. Yeah,
there you go. You know her.
Boom.
You know her so well.
Boom, boom.
On behalf of both of you.
I said
yelling
that
from
that would do it. This is awesome. You guys should get married.
Yeah, I know, right? But the difference is she can actually quote it. Like she knows it by heart. So that's the difference.
What about sound effects and score? Elfman, great.
Yeah,
he does all of his movies from this point on. He did Batman 2.
Okay, iconic.
Iconic. I would say slightly below costume design. Perfect. So now it's coming together. Why this movie's so highly rated? Because all of like the elements are really good.
Yes.
They did a really good job with the elements. I love the score of sound effects. And what about the setting? Do you guys like the house? We'll talk about the house because they're in the house the whole time. How do we like the way they did the house?
Clever.
That's where I got the Courage the Cowardly Dog feeling. Like that random house on top of a hill, in this suburban area.
Yeah, that aesthetic. I feel like I've always looked for this house. Like whenever I'm out and about, like you're like, oh, maybe that's like a Beetlejuice house.
And again, every time they show the house, it's daytime.
It is. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yes.
It's so interesting. Like they really wanted us to lock on how funky that house was, how weird it was. And then when they come back, when they've been in purgatory for 3 months, even though it's been 5 minutes to them, and everything's changed, and this is horrific, interior designing. I thought was just also perfect.
Exactly.
So like I gave it like 10, 9.5 on these three. I loved them. But I think this one's going to be really interesting, and I even added some of the movies these characters were in. But we have 6 pretty well-known actors, at least at this point. Anyone peaked? Is this the peak for any of these people?
Yeah, I mean, one did, but that's because he's in prison. But
yeah. Well, okay. Let's just do the elephant in the room. Jeffrey Jones, the dad, is in jail. And well, actually, I don't think he's in anymore, but because this was 15, 20 years ago. But he was definitely not coming in for the second one. For some, he's a sex offender. He's a sex offender. I'll just say it. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But he was in Amadeus, which was a very famous movie.
And Ferris Bueller's a pretty big movie too.
Yeah, and he's kind of an iconic part of. Is he the principal or no? He's a teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got big time educator vibes for me. So I would say Amadeus is probably his biggest. I know you guys probably haven't seen it. It's like a 70s, but it was a or maybe it was 80s, but I think it was movie of the year when they got more for best picture one year.
Nice.
So, and it's like a 4-hour movie. So if it's about Mozart. But he was a big, and I think he's won one Academy Award, and it was for best supporting actor in Amadeus. Yeah. So I would say he was a big part of it. And that was probably his peak, but this one's up there. How about Catherine O'Hara?
Dude,
she plays. Is it Dina?
I think that sounds familiar. I don't watch Schitt's Creek, but I think that sounds familiar.
I mean, is it just fair to say that?
Dude, I was going to say not a single one of these people peaked, man. Everyone's still.
Sorry, Delia Dietz. Yeah, she's also in Home Alone,
which is bigger than this movie.
Exactly.
She's very similar in Home Alone. I feel like that was next.
She's more known for that movie than I think any other movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Home Alone. And Home Alone was just what was it, 93, 2? So it was like a few years after.
I mean, they just did like a whole promo last Christmas of her with Kevin Hart around like the name Kevin, like her yelling it out.
Yeah.
So
that's
I
definitely
think she's
her
known
peak.
for that. Actually, maybe no, because Winona Ryder. I mean, I still think of Stranger Things.
Stranger Things is huge.
Her peak.
Exactly, it brought her back hard.
Yeah, it did. And by the way, she purposely took a hiatus from movie making for like 20 years because it was just she didn't like the fame. Josh Hartnett also did that. Didn't know that, but he did. But she was in Edward Scissorhands. I don't think she's the main. She's not the main character, and she's in Alien Resurrection, where she is one of the main characters, but it's not
Stranger Things.
A great movie.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'd say she's known probably now for Stranger Things more than anything, especially because season 2 is what most people think is the best season with her and Samwise.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, it was really good in that. What about Michael Keaton? This one's interesting because this guy's been in some shit.
I mean, not even remotely peaked.
He's Batman.
He's Batman.
Yeah, Michael Keaton can't peak.
No.
It's impossible.
He's Batman. He's also Birdman and won Best Actor.
Yeah.
He did a commencement speech, and this is how you know he didn't peak in this movie because he ended the commencement speech with, and I'm Batman. And he walked away.
Oh my gosh, dude, come on.
God, he's the best. Do you know who he wants to play more than anyone in a movie? You're never gonna guess. Like his number one guy he wants to play in a movie is Ted Williams.
Oh,
he's a huge Red Sox fan.
What's so?
Oh, I can see that. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
That's so random. Honestly, I'll be honest. The script that I was working on about baseball, I haven't been the manager because I think he would be a great, super intimidating, pain in the ass manager. Of a team. But he also Birdman won movie of the year, and Spotlight also won movie of the year. Though I believe he won actor for Birdman. So, but he's Batman. Like Batman's just an iconic. Like we're even thinking of Ben Affleck as Batman still, even though his were terrible, and he's still Batman, right? So when you're Batman, you get that forever. Even Val Kilmer, man. Willow's his best movie, but come on, still Batman.
Still Batman.
Alec Baldwin
also didn't peak.
No, I don't think so. He's in The Departed.
Yeah, dude,
he's in a murder trial. What?
He's in a murder trial. He shot a guy.
Yeah, he did.
Actually, it's manslaughter, by the way. Just
manslaughter.
That's true. Yeah.
And The Hunt for Red October. That's another very good movie. So yeah, he probably didn't peak. And then Gina Davis.
No, I mean
League of Their Own, man.
Yeah, Gina Davis.
League of Their Own.
Little. No. Gina Davis also did not peak.
No, she is a League of Their Own first, but I think that this might be second. I would say this might be second on her list because there's not a lot. There's not a lot after Stuart Little.
I'm now looking at Michael Keaton movies, and I completely forgot he was in The Other Guys, and he was probably the best.
Yeah, he was amazing.
Person in that movie.
Dude. Is he the captain?
When he just he used the grocery store. Yeah, he's the captain. Then he worked at the grocery store, and he just kept quoting TLC.
That's right. Yeah. Yes, of course.
He's like, yeah, I don't want no scrubs. Right. No scrubs.
You can't not know.
You're like, are you quoting TLC? And he's like, no, what?
Come on, you're doing it on purpose now. I don't know what you're talking about. I've never heard of.
What a weird what a weird whole what a weird way to go, direction to go, right, for that movie. But anyway, like the whole monologue about the tuna having a taste for lion.
Oh my!
There's no way that wasn't ad-libbed. There's no way that was written. Right?
One of the greatest. Dude.
Anywho, okay, let's give it a final rating,
all right,
boys.
Let's wrap it up.
Pete.
Oh,
Pete, go first. Pete, go first. He's the one with the wife that loves it.
Babe, what's your final rating?
Yes.
What's your final rating?
Out of 10.
Out of 10, final rating. 10 is the best. You're going 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Favorite movie.
It has everything in the movie.
It has everything.
All right, she just said yeah with confidence.
10 out of 10. That's your favorite movie.
I'm going to go 7.
Romance.
What is better?
She just said, wow, what is better? I mean, there's a lot of movies.
Godfather. I don't know.
It has soundtrack, she said.
Great actors. Have you seen 2012? That's what I thought.
Comedy. He says, have you seen
But does it have bubbling water?
And she just laughed because she knows the significance of that movie to me.
Does it have random bubbling water?
No, 7 out of 10. I have this movie still makes me feel gross.
Yeah.
But I can appreciate the comedy, and I quote it, and I do kind of like funny gags around it, and I think it's great to play around Halloween. But no, it still grosses me out.
Yeah, it's not one you're choosing. Yeah, you're just not gonna. It's not a movie you're choosing.
Agreed.
It's okay. I give it an 8.2.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Because I like it. I thought it was high quality, and honestly, like everything we talked about at the very beginning of the show, or in the middle, I guess, about like the artistry of Tim Burton and the types of things he does. I'm starting to value shit like that more. So it kicked it up a little bit for me. Just so it's not. It was more fun to watch it from that standpoint than just like like a kid, like I was when I saw it the first time. And it's even better when you kind of like look at how he did things and notice little weird stuff and all kind of stuff. So 8.2 for me.
I love that. I feel like I'm similar in like I like the movie makes me feel weird because like I remember watching it as a kid and like the snake scene and stuff was very off-putting. But also I did really like the parts that didn't have that weird stop motion-y stuff. So I do really like the movie. I would say I'm going to get it like a 7.7. I do really like it. I think about Jumping the Line, that scene all the time. I freaking love that song. I love that scene. I love Michael Keaton's performance. So I appreciate what Tim Burton does, and I appreciate the set, and I appreciate the costumes and the score. It's very it's well done. It's just not like the thing I love the most, but I appreciate how well done it is. So it's yeah. So I'd say 7.7. I'm going to watch it again. Anything over a 7.5, I'm watching again. So,
yep. Well said.
Yeah, it's a yearly movie, like whether you like it or not.
yes, exactly. Michael Keaton's too good not to watch again.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great show, fellas. I have one last little thing that I would love to share with you. It's actually unrelated to this movie, but it was a nugget that I noticed in another movie that I would love you to check out if you're going to watch it soon, which you might, because I don't know, we're getting into the sleepy time of the year where people are going to start watching more movies. I watched episode 1 of the Star Wars movie. So Kate and I are on a little bit of a revisiting the ones that came out when we were kids.
Yes,
and why? Because there's that whole argument, Freddie Prinze Jr. has that really famous one where he's like, hey, just watch the ones you watched when you were a kid. That's what they were for. Like, stop bitching about all the new ones. They're for the kids now. So shut up.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, that's a good point. Thank you. And I went and rewatched it. Like, is this actually as bad as I remember it being? It's not as bad, but it is. There's some bad movie making parts. But there was one really cool nugget that I noticed for the first time. And that is the Senate, right? The chancellor or whatever in the first one, the guy who runs the Senate has guards with him, right? And they have really cool costumes. I don't know if you ever noticed them because they're always kind of in the background, but they have these black helmets and they're Spartan helmets, whatever, and they have these long rifle guns. These guns are black and white, which doesn't match their jersey or their jersey, their costume at all, but they look like stormtroopers. And what it happens is when the Emperor takes over, they become the first stormtroopers.
Huh.
And I had that realization. I was like, those are stormtroopers before they're stormtroopers, before he becomes the Emperor and then makes them, and their guns are the stormtrooper guns. But you just don't see you only see the colors. You don't see anything else. So we didn't see any of those
Easter
until
egg.
Later. So it's a little Easter egg. I think that was put in there because they're pretty obvious. They really don't match. The guns colors don't make any sense if they're not that.
What a random ass fact.
They walked by the camera once. It was very obvious, very on the nose. I was like, what the hell was that? That was weird.
Ooh.
And
Call foreshadowing.
So I don't know. Next time you watch them, that was something that I would not mention any other time if I didn't do it today. So sorry to throw that in at the end.
Thanks for doing
Just
that.
a little interesting thing. So next time you watch it, keep your eye out for that. See if I'm even right. I don't know.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. It could be just completely.
We should do that. We should do little Easter egg nuggets at the end of every episode. Random, unrelated.
I love it. Yeah, find some random little nugget for you. Then see what you guys get for me. All right, awesome. Well, this has been the Make It in Action podcast. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Also, don't forget, wherever you're listening, leave a rating, leave a review. Anything you can. Interact with us any way you can. We'd really appreciate it. We also have our Discord channel. It's in the description of the show. So if you want to join that and talk about movies there, I've actually been hanging out in there a little bit more recently. Yeah. So it'd be cool. I'm watching way too many movies. I want to talk about them. So come hang out. And thank you again to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring this episode of the show. And use code MCA when you sign up, and you can get a little bonus, a little bonus money for you. Put that in your wallet. Have some money. We will see you next time on the show. Hopefully next week we are going to talk a little bit about maybe giving you a little heads up on some movies, so maybe you can watch them with us.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll mess with it. I don't know. And little baby's coming soon, and I don't have to go to New York after this weekend, so expect the show every week, right, guys?
That's right.
Awesome. Sounds good. All right, we'll see you next time. Everyone be good. Bye-bye.